Hey, hey!
Hey, how are you, Eric?
Good. We're live for a special edition
Can you
of
believe
the Box. This is it. I think this is our first special edition, isn't it?
it is? For all the fan mail we've been getting, we have been asked to do more.
I know. I mean, it's absurd. Where are you seeing this fan mail? Is that like old school regular mail or is that email? I'm not even seeing it.
Yeah, on the rooftop of this old mill, there's this pigeon. There's a bunch of pigeons, and
Yes.
I'm getting carrier pigeon messages. It's
What?
COVID.
I got a notification on my at the penalty box at AOL that we got a message off MySpace, but I didn't realize, that we were getting those kind of messages. So
Yeah, everything's retro now. Everything's
yeah. Retro is in. Retro is in. I'm wearing my cool hat. This is Andolini's Pizza, Tulsa, Oklahoma. World Pizza Champion Mike Bausch is going to be our guest today and talk about a new book he's rolling out, which is pretty cool. And so, should we do a baby shot on goal? Because I have one.
Well, you go first because I literally just came up with one like 30 seconds ago.
Okay, well, here's, normally, so if you watch the show, we do a shot on goal, and we've got a little more coming up, on Wednesday. But my shot on goal today was suck it, Tom Brady.
Ah.
I didn't steal your shot on goal, did I?
No, that is much better than my shot on goal. I will tell you
Suck
this.
it, Tom Brady.
I love him. I'll cheer for him when he comes back. We signed him to the one day contract and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But when I happened to miss the first quarter of that game, and I tuned in, and when I saw I had to do a double take, I couldn't believe it.
Pretty crazy, wasn't it?
He did not look happy.
Okay, well, here's no, and he. Whoa. That was weird. Crazy, wasn't it? You know what happened here? I was gonna share this, and it pulled up on my phone kind of loud. So anyway, all right, what do you got? What's your shot on goal?
Well, my shot on goal is real quick too. So pizza, of course, we're talking about pizza today.
Yes.
But here in New England, on every street corner pops up a Mexican restaurant.
Yes.
Right. And so my shot on goal is lately Chinese has been my go-to takeout. And the reason is, and there's one reason, there is a restaurant here in the town that took over a Wendy's that closed. And it's called Don Ramon's. It's well known locally, but we call it Wenditos. And
I love it.
And
Wenditos.
And the other day I went in, and again, it's a restaurant show, and I'm sitting at the bar, and I get this waft of the bathroom, and it's unbelievable. And people are just sitting there ordering, and I'm like, is this a recurring thing? Yeah, it happens like every half hour. I'm like, all right, I'll take my check. I just don't understand how people will sit through that, but. And on every corner. And it's not the only restaurant that I've been into recently that's had that issue, but on every corner, a Mexican restaurant seems to be popping up. And some of the Chinese places that I take out, I can see it. I can see the food being made, and it's so clean. And that's my quick shot on goal.
Yeah, we won't get too much into that because I have stories and stories and stories about restaurants because I've been in a lot of them. But we will. Let's bring our guest on. Tim, Mark.
Hey, Mark, how are you, buddy?
I like just Tim, period. It's the best comment I've seen in a long time.
He's in from Florida. He's checking in from Florida.
Cool. Well, there's Mikey Bausch right there. So I guess, bring him back. There he is. So Mike is one of my good buddies in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He is the owner of Andolini's Pizza. He's a world pizza champion, and he's got a new book coming out tomorrow. And so we wanted to have him on to talk about this new book because I have read it. I have seen it. There's the Amazon link to it right there. It's 99 cents on Kindle, which he can talk about some of the reasoning behind that, which I think is really kind of cool. So how are you?
Oh, am I? I'm doing good. I got a new book. I mean, it's not every day you drop a book, so that will occur tomorrow. And yes, we are making it 99 cents for a week so that Jeff Bezos appreciates me and notices me with the amount of books that I sell. So buy it however you'd like to do it. You could review it if without having bought it if you get it some other way. But it's really interesting how the Amazon algorithm works. The book officially in Amazon's eyes releases tomorrow, but I've had a few people try to purchase it and it show up to their house. I haven't physically touched the book yet, but it's very interesting, and it's great to see it come to fruition. It's not the story of me. It's very much business, system maintenance and creation in a fun way, not like most books. So we're pretty proud of it.
You know, one of the things I wanted to ask you, because you said that it's not a story about me. It's kind of an interesting read because it's about your journey, but yet there's a lot of nuts and bolts, real common sense. Well, I say real common sense. There's a lot of nuts and bolts restaurant philosophies and things that are in there. Can you talk about how that came together for you and what your thought process was and how you wrote it?
I looked at doing a book the same way I do the restaurant. I don't. It needs to bring value to the end user. It needs to be something that they could bite into and really appreciate and feel special about themselves as a result of it. So it's very important throughout the book that it's what are you getting from it, and I'll put a story in it so it shows that it's not just theoreticals by someone who doesn't understand the industry. But at no point is it just a bloviation of, hey, come look at me and how great I am. It's very much, this is how, a system that we created. Here's why it failed. Here's how you could avoid that failure. Here's what we did separately that worked great. Even if it's very specific to our brand, I'll say, here's something that we did that totally worked. Don't do the same exact thing, because then you'll look like a cheap copy, but you can do it in this manner and way and create success for yourself.
Very cool. Very cool. Tim, you got a question? Or you? I didn't know. Yeah. I know you got some stuff there.
Yeah, no, Mike. I knowing Eric since June and following him on his live pizza interviews on Instagram, I have watched you on there at least once or twice.
Okay.
In your industry or in the pizza industry, what would you say is the biggest problem that operators have if you had to narrow it down? I know you got a whole book about that coming out. But if you wanted to pick the problem that most of them encounter and then don't see it coming, you know?
The biggest problem, especially the most pervasive one, is the first store person, which is most independent operators are at one store and they believe that they need to copy or be something that they believe they're supposed to be rather than being their best version of themselves. And as a result of that, they end up becoming just a cheap carbon copy that never gets any traction, as opposed to really digging in on what they dig and being passionate about what they sell, as opposed to, okay, here's another poster on the wall of Venice, even though they've never been to Italy. And here's the same frozen ravioli that every single restaurant could buy and deep fry and say, yep, we're an Italian restaurant. And there's nothing Italian about it. There's nothing unique about it. And they say, we're doing everything right. We're checking all the boxes. Why are we not rolling in cash?
They're not setting themselves apart in any way.
No. And it's like being in junior high and like, how do I fit in and not get in trouble or not getting called out? This junior high mentality, just stay the course. Make sure your hair looks like everyone else's hair and you're wearing the same shoes as everyone else. People do that as adults, and in a restaurant, it's immediate failure.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's a great just analogy of pizza, but in a restaurant, but also life. I was talking to somebody a little while ago about one of the interesting things about being a kid is when, like having a fake eye, right? And when you grow up with that stuff, you can look at like, oh, I have a fake eye, my life sucks. Or you can be like me and you can just embrace it and say, I love my one good eye. But I think when you get older, you realize those differences that we all have are unique and cool, and restaurants should have those. You can't be like everyone else. You shouldn't be. Right, Mike, is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing that I do every speech that I do. I say, if you're not impressive by default, you're unimpressive.
Yeah.
If you're not, and what that means is, you got the drink out on time, the pizza came out, their check was presented in a timely fashion. you checked all the boxes. Why are you not the best? And there was nothing unique about this. There's nothing special about this. The server did not endear themselves. The food did not have a story. It didn't stand out. The ambiance wasn't anything in particularly different than someone else. So why do I care? And if they say, hey, it was fine, it was okay, but they don't come back, or if they hated it and they don't come back, those are both the same outcome.
Yeah. Along those same lines, you and I both love watching The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Yes, I do.
Thinking about that kind of made me think about when they get out of the limo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are just kind of old school, hi, how are you? I'm Mikey Bausch. We're going to get to know each other tonight. And then some take it to some stupid extremes and show up on a horse. And, do you look at some of those and think the ones that are just too much, are they too much? I mean, what do you think about that?
It's an interesting dynamic because they're presenting themselves. We're really getting meta and deep on The Bachelor right now. I want you to know. It's a level of salesmanship. So it's okay. Am I going to be the kitschy person coming out of the limo, and I have a costume, and it's a first impression, but we all know that it has a low percentage rate to how they do in the end. The first impression is really that first night, right? And how how am I going to endear myself? Hey, can I steal you for a minute? I'm just going to steal for 1 minute. It's 1 minute.
Right reasons.
And
Tim, do you watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette?
Well, I have probably the first couple seasons. I watched it. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
And I was mesmerized by some of the things that people did. More importantly, the train wrecks, the people that fall in love. And we all know that show is shot like in a 2-week period, right?
it's much longer.
But still.
What's that?
It's like 2 months or 3 months.
Okay, well, it's pretty quick, and these people fall in love fast.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Mike, when you started your business,
wait.
What?
We were talking about The Bachelor. You just wanted to go straight serious again? Well, what's up? I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm sorry. We could go back.
Go ahead. What was your question? I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say, now it's anticlimactic. So if your business was The Bachelor, what season would it be?
Oh, you want it to be like the interesting season that's the least of a train wreck. I guess I would say Rachel's season of The Bachelorette, because she had her act together. She did not suffer fools, because Rachel is a rare case where they said, okay, we need to get like a normal person to be the Bachelorette. They hadn't ever had any people of color ever as the Bachelor, so they couldn't have the first one be a psycho. So she's the most normal. And then when there was dumbassery around, she wasn't like throwing herself into it. She's like, nope, done, you're done. And that's what made her an effective Bachelorette. And she got married. So yay, Rachel.
That's another really good Bachelor question. My favorite pizza at your restaurant is the DeMarco, right?
Okay.
Who would you say female wise is like hot on like the hot DeMarco level?
The hottest girl on The Bachelor. I don't know. It's interesting how much they just leave your brain after like a season.
It's true. It's so true. Well, I will tell you, for me, who it was. The hottest one for me was the gal that was the lawyer at one point. Black hair, brunette. Do you know what I'm talking about? What was her name?
The one from Peter's season that got kicked off, but's actually with him now.
No. She's a couple years back. She got with the dude that's been on there like 5 or 6 times.
I have no idea.
Oh, you keep talking. I'm going to Google it up. Go ahead.
Is everyone really enjoying this level of in-depth?
Well, I'm sure people are.
About it's like people having a not fully fleshed out awareness of The Bachelor.
I'll let Tim ask you a real question. Go ahead.
I'm scared to now. We're going down this Bachelor rabbit hole. Does your book talk about your secrets of making pizza?
No, and secrets is a relative question. There's great recipe books out there. There are. And I'm like, Tony Gimignani wrote a book called The Pizza Bible. It's really so comprehensive that it's just a mic drop on recipe making for pizza. There's other books that are like, hey, here's how you're going to get store opened, and here's your food cost percentages and what they should be. This isn't that either. The first 2 chapters are all, here's how you can determine if you're going to make it in this industry and what you need to really evaluate and have a heart-to-heart with you about. Then it gets into, why would anyone ever buy your product? What are you doing and how are you making it yourself special? Then why would anyone work with you or for you? After we get into that, it's okay, now you understand who you are and why someone should work for you. Here's how you're going to deal with every problematic scenario that arises. And it's my management training that I created for my managers over the last 10 years, broken into very approachable bites of, here's how you handle discipline talks, here's how you handle growth, here's how you handle all these things. Then it gets into the military background of my family with, okay, you have a problem in front of you, here's how you're going to break it down, then decompress it and analyze it and make a system for it. And here's how you're going to make a system that makes sure that system actually works all the time, and then reevaluate it. So no matter what you have on your plate, when people say, how do you open so many restaurants? I'm like, systemization and following the systems. Pizza and having great pizza, it's a price of entry. I have to have great pizza. The recipe, you make it badass, you make it perfect. Now it's, how do I get every store to do it the right way with 17-year-olds? That's where people fail. And I'm like, here's how you do it. Here's how you get them to care about it. Here's how you get them to systematically work on it and know it. And here's how you don't have one person saying, oh, this is how I do it my way at this store. This is how growth occurs. And that's what I'm imparting on the reader.
Well, you touched on the fact that you've got a lot of different restaurants, and I looked at your website, and what are you at, 12, 13?
I have 12 different things currently, in the sense of 5 brick and mortars, a food truck, 2 gelaterias, a fine dining restaurant, 2 items at a food court, a very high-end food hall, and then we have a location in the airport.
So consistency. I know, getting to know Eric, that that ingredients. Water from one place to another will change the crust. Am I correct? How do you keep consistent of your? What are you laughing at, Eric?
Nothing. I just saw the look on his face. I don't know. He was like,
the water. When people go down the road of pizza and water, it's a very the water is one aspect of it. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like a magic beans argument when people say, oh, the water is not from New York. It's like you're discounting the humidity content, the flour, the W percentage, how much fermentation time, the person making it, what flour, what cheese, what sauce, all the stuff that matters. And where that kind of, it's a old wives' tale came from, is New York guys were going down to Florida, and the only thing that changed was their water. Well, it's not because the water's special in New York. It's because the water's crappy in Florida, and it's hard water. And all they need to do is just install a filter, and boom, they're back in business.
There you go.
But to your point, here's how we do all these things. And again, the food is very important. It has to be impeccable at all fronts. Nonetheless, if the staff doesn't care, or even the salesmanship of it, I could have the greatest pizza that's ever been made in the history of time. If I give it out in a generic pizza box without a perfect crust liner, it will have less of a pull. Look at water. I have a whole chapter in there on bottled water. Think about bottled water for a second. I could have 5 bottles on the table, and they all convey a different sense of personal pride. I mean, obviously the product matters. It super matters. But whether or not I have a Nalgene bottle that shows I don't waste water, or I have a crappy, Sam's Club thin bottle, or I have a big electrolyte, smart water, it's saying something about your brand purchase and your purchase anxiety or your purchase pride, and conveying that. So really getting this purchase pride to the customer that, hey, this is the best because of this. You got to follow up on that promise. I'm not saying sell crap and wrap a bow on it, because a lot of people do that as well.
mm-hmm.
But if you can take something and make it even more special and make someone feel special for purchasing it, that's how. Because in my game, it's not the best. It's not like I'm really fighting Domino's or chains. They're all fighting for the bottom of the most convenient. I'm fighting for who's the best, because no one wants to go to the second best in town. So to be the best, I have to have the best product. I also have to give that feeling of this is the best. Now, to someone that has like dive ambiance, where it's like, oh, I go there and it's so dingy and blah, blah, blah. That's an ambiance too, which
Right.
can still suffice. But if something doesn't look overtly divish, it doesn't look overtly fancifully opulent, then it's just in this murky middle ground that it's not getting any traction.
Cool. Did you see Lloyd's question? Wes, can you throw it? There you go. Mike, can you read that?
Yeah, what's your advice for restaurants to make a great impression and stand out, and their customers are primarily carry out and delivery, either by local COVID rules or customer preference? I mean, there's so much that you could do, like just the look of everything. If it's not, is the pizza box have their logo on it? Is the brand being put on the forefront? Is the staff in a uniform? Are they approaching? They can see the name of the person on the receipt. Are they say, all right, you had the pepperoni, or say, and Mr. Werther, here is your pepperoni pizza. Thank you so much for coming in today. This is all like the Chick-fil-A approach, which the service can go so far and take a chicken sandwich to, again, a great product, but can make you feel so much more special about purchasing it than in the customer pickup scenario versus they're just picking it up. And I have a small place and I have one person. The product is the product, and then it's the service and the ambiance. And the ambiance being, hey, we care about COVID. We're the safest place possible, gloves, masks, everything, and not looking like you're half-assing it. It's going to take someone that is on the fence about it, which some people, it depends on the state, depends, red or blue, whatever you want to say, to the people that are keenly aware of it. If you're not catering to their, I don't want to say fear, but if you're not showing that you care, you're going to lose at least 30% of the population like that.
Yeah.
It's funny, we have a local New York style pizzeria here in our town, and he's got quite a following, a little bit of a dive, went in the other day, known him for years, no mask, no gloves, no nothing. And I asked him, because I'm standing there with a mask on, and I asked him, doesn't that bother you? He's like, nah. And I just think that that kind of attitude can go the opposite way of what you're talking about. His food might be amazing, but if he doesn't even care about the safety of his clients or potential clients, then he's, I just don't think that's a good sign to put out,
That's a very pervasive attitude. I mean, the mask situation on the table, just this, the ego in the industry is pervasive. And it's like, come on, hey, you don't know better. I know the best. And I'm like, you're going to know the best at your one store forever. You're in love with being right in your brain rather than putting points on the board. And if you want to put points on the board, I'll teach you how. If you want to be right, you can be right till the ends of the earth at your one store and squeak by and never take a day off.
Hey, I've got the next tough question. A soundtrack with your book. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, and from a very real perspective, I believe in unique selling points, something that makes it special, makes it different. I talk about it a lot. So when it came to that aspect of it, I was like, well, what's special about this? And I also wrote it in my voice for people that read often, but also for people that this isn't, I'm not reading a book a week. So I wanted to make it approachable, and I pause between each chapter and then detail in length the backstory on a song that I think applies to the next chapter or wraps up the previous chapter, so that they could take an auditory palate cleanser.
I love it.
And if you want to see that, it's on a Spotify playlist at unslicedbook.com. So at unslicedbook.com,
Tim's writing that down right now. Like,
there's also a playlist at the back that goes into, hey, if you really want to haul ass when like you're down on ticket times, listen to these songs. And that's another playlist on there as well.
Speaking of music, can you tell us what your obsession with the Grassroots is?
The band, the Grassroots, or the song Grassroots?
No, the band.
I don't have an obsession with them.
Well, it was one of the bands you listed on a picture on your Facebook page. So I was just kind of wondering.
Oh no, that's not the band. That's the name of an album.
Oh, okay.
311.
Okay, I must have heard it incorrectly.
The band 311, very popular 90s rap rock funk reggae band.
Sure.
That has been around for 30 years and has never changed a member. That was their third album, and I very much enjoy it. It's a solid album from start to finish.
I also Van Halen.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, I also noticed Van Halen. Hagar or David Lee?
I think we could all agree it's Gary Cherone from from Van Halen 3, who was the greatest Van Halen singer of all time. I actually, here's a fun story. When people hit me up on LinkedIn and I think it's a bot, I ask that question.
Do you really?
Because there's no bot that's gonna like crap that out.
A friend of mine is married to Patrick, who is the bass player of Extreme, and they're still going strong.
They just had to take that 1 year off in 1998.
Hey, first off, it was Andy Dorfman who I was thinking of.
Okay, I didn't start that. You started before me.
I thought she was a total smoke show. So DLR, there you go. I'm going to put you on the spot here at this question.
Okay.
Top 5 slices you've ever had.
Best 5 slices?
Top 5.
Top 5 slices? Okay. I in no particular order, I would say Prince Street Pizza in New York.
Yeah.
That's a legit one. A lot of people are, oh, you have to go to this place or this place. And I'm like, this is garbage. This is a garbage pizza. Like a lot of the places in New York are not that great. And you're like, oh, I want a real Italian slice. I'm like, no one here is Italian to start. And there's nothing but Prince Street Pizza with a really thick cut of pepperoni on it, really solid. Tony Gimignani's slices, I mean, you can't mess with it. It's fantastic. Now slice versus a whole pizza, like I've had, of Napolitana, Tony's is impeccable. So is Anthony Mangieri with Una Napolitana. So is Chris Bianco. I mean, Bianco he's like the Babe Ruth. I look at him like a Babe Ruth, like the first guy to say, hey, we could do this. And I look at Tony like the Jordan of it, to just take it to this next level. And then maybe with Tony and I, he would be the Shawn Michaels, and I am the more Triple H version of that. If we really want to get into multiple levels of sports metaphors, then what else we got? I just threw down a bunch of full pizzas. I grew up loving, and I had it again. It's not amazing, but I grew up absolutely loving it. It's this 28-inch, 1/6 of a slice from a 28-inch pie in Hoboken at 7-Star Pizzeria. Made me love pizza emphatically, and it's just so crisp and big, and it was so amazing. Like, this is all mine. Like when you're a kid, like you're Kevin McAllister's, the height of luxury, a cheese pizza, all for me. So yes, that was a great one. I think I've gotten 5 at this point. I can just keep going.
Well, keep going. Name some more that you love.
I mean, who else? I mean, Tony Triano out with JB Alberto's. It's damn good pizza. Really, really freaking good. I had a place at Don Michele in Naples, the place across the street from Don Michele, had a pistachio pizza, as well as just impeccable, really, really good. I like Carmine. Carmine does a really solid slice at Carmine's Pizza Factory in Jersey. Yep. I really like what Williamsburg Pizza has done. I've never had pizza from a non-pizza guy and had it be spectacular. I'll say that. I've never gone to like a chef's pizza place. Yeah. And been like, there's just not enough attention to fermentation. It's like walking in and saying, well, I was great at this other stuff, so this will be easy, because it's just such a different realm. It's just not the same. And going across, I mean, I'm trying to really rack my brain on stuff across America. Via 313, I could just, if I'm in Austin, I could kill one of those every single night. Lions, Tigers, and Squares for Detroit in New York, I could kill. It's $5, and they're open until 4 a.m. And it's not down. That's where people were like, "Oh, it was so good at 3 a.m." Like, well, you were hammered. That's why it was so good. It's really, really good. I've had it like sober in the middle of the day too to check it out. It was totally worth it. Totally amazing.
Have you been to Cane Rosso?
Yeah. I think they do a great job. Yeah. Real big fan of Lee and what he's done. Yeah. And I had been there before I had met him, and I think it's just really, really tight. The Caputo, what they do, great job all around. Big fan of them. There's so many places across America that I'm like, okay, that was really good. That's really dope. And I think it's good to be in awe. A lot of, again, going back to that ego thing, a lot of people are, we're the best. And I'm like, you're not the best. You're just not. And if you were truly the best baker in the world, you probably suck at everything else. You know, it's about being good at the HR, the marketing, the hustle, and the product to survive and thrive for a long period of time. And that's what usually one of the three gets dropped. And I try and do all three well and try and push each one.
If you had a subpar product but did all of the other things that you're outlining in your book really well, could you survive and do well?
You really could. And that's what's sad about it. I mean, that's the whole fast food industry, right? I mean, the fast food industry is built upon an insane level of metrics, marketing, and HR all tight, and then a product that's okay, you know. And if I had a horrible dining experience or horrible pizza at a table, but the best server ever, the best server could probably save that table. The best pizza can't save the worst service ever.
True that.
Right.
True that. Hey, James asked if 7 Star is still there, and I don't think it is.
It is.
Is it there? Is that the one that you had the shirt on the other day that you made your own T-shirt?
Yeah, I made my own T-shirt for a pizza place that totally doesn't give.
He made his own T-shirt for 7 Star. I'm like, where'd you get that? He's like, oh, I made it myself.
Yeah, I love pizza, but I still always want to wear my own shirt. Be the guy in the band that wears his own shirt of the band.
Here's the shirt I'm wearing today because
I mean, is that you? Oh, that's and I'm wearing my brand of Andolinis right there too. I mean,
there you go. Well, hey, we're gonna wrap this up. I need a pizza talk show. Yes, you do. Well, we do need a pizza talk show. Mike, 2 or 3 reasons people should line up tomorrow and buy this book.
Well, first off, you don't need to line up anywhere. You can buy it for 99 cents. You can review it tomorrow, and you're doing some good in the world. If you read it, I guarantee you will get something out of the book. I'm going to go so far as anyone listening to this, anyone that ever does listen to this, if you buy this book and you're like, that was a waste of money, go to unslicedbook.com, tell me that it sucked. I'll buy you a gift card to wherever you live in America so you can go out and eat dinner somewhere else, or at a local pizzeria or a cheesecake factory. I don't care. But I don't think that's what will occur. I think you'll review. I think you'll read it. I think it'll be a different take or different approach to how you look at books. And I think you'll have a fun time and that you'll enjoy it. And if I'm worthy of it, by all means, please review it this week, especially because everything in that world is determined by the first week. And I would very much appreciate it. And if you do dig it, you can email me, mike@andopizza.com, or it's right there at that link. I'll have a feed to connect to me, and I'd love to hear from you.
Is it true that you had a whole chapter in the book written about me, but the book was so long you had to cut it out?
I have 4 chapters specifically about you, and they're all in there. They're all in there, in depth.
Would you like to lower the price of the book now?
It's now 42 cents for the Kindle version. Well, guys, let's cut this thing out, and because we're going to cut this, unlike Mike's book that's unsliced. Thank you for being on, guys. I've actually already read the book, and it's phenomenal. And we do have Brian Cristiano on tomorrow morning, which is exciting. And so, guys, go check out Amazon tomorrow. And pick up this book. It's good. It's a good read. So, Mike, thank you for being on. Timmy, as always, I love you so much. Just bunches and bunches, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.